Hello everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple shelf. Now I've made a bunch of shelves over my course of life on this earth, and the shelf design that you make is going to depend on what you're putting on the shelf, okay? I'll throw some pictures in here. I'll show you some shelves I use for my planes, and you know, I got some lanterns and stoves and all my tinsmithing stuff. Alright, so the last photo of the stuff that my candle holders and tin items are on is what we're going to be making today. And that's the simplest, most lightweight one out of all of them. Okay? The other ones are more, I guess for lack of a better term, heavy duty. So they can hold a lot more weight. Now, I'm making this for the Oilers. And I weighed all 6 of them that I have, and they were less than 6 ounces for all 6 of them. I think it was 5.8 ounces or something like that. So we're not looking for a tremendous amount of weight to be held. So again, this is going to be very simple. There's not going to be any type of brackets on the bottom, as like something like this. I have this one here. This was made to hold something very heavy on top. And very simply, screws went in here, right into the wall, and then there was just a couple little caps that went on there so you didn't see the screws. Now this is a heavy duty shelf. I wouldn't doubt, depending on the size of the anchors, like if there was toggle bolts on it, this thing could hold 100 pounds, you know. So that's not what we're looking for today. So basically what we're going to do is, I have a couple pieces of scrap wood. This wood was actually free. This was just cut-offs that were going to be thrown out at my local Home Depot. It doesn't need to be expensive, okay? You could do the same if you go to your Home Depot. Just say, hey, do you have any scrap wood you're getting rid of? If they do, they'll give it to you. If they don't, you could pick up some poplar. Poplar, you could probably get it 1/2 inch thin. This is even thinner than that. Alright, so what I have here is just a piece of birch plywood. And this stuff is thin. And again, I'm only holding those little tiny Oilers. So this is 3/16 or 5 millimeters. Okay, very thin stuff. Again, this is not something we're going to be putting, you know, hundreds of pounds of weight on. Then here, just a piece of white wood, and this is only 5/8, okay? And it's 1.5 inches wide. And what we're going to do is, we're going to put this right on the bottom of that. I can't get everything in view at one shot, but so basically that's going to be our shelf, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use these. Let me put this over here. They call them keyhole hangers, okay? And again, we're not using heavyweight stuff. On bigger shelves, like the ones you saw with the planes and with the lanterns on it, I use these bigger ones. Okay, these are pretty heavy duty. These could hold a lot of weight. All right, we don't need that here. I picked up a pack of these keyhole hangers off of Amazon, including these screws, but these screws are a little too small for our. I don't want to use them in this. I got actually 1/2 inch ones. These are about 1/4 inch. These are good for like picture frames and stuff, but 40 of them for $7. So if anyone wants to do this project and need a couple of these, reach out to me. All right, so we got the keyhole hangers. So we're going to do some layout. Let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to try to get this camera a little closer. All right, so we have this piece which is actually going to go against the wall. Let's pretend that the bench is the wall. That's going to go like that, all right? So we want to install these keyhole hangers at each end of this, all right? Let me get around here. Hopefully I can get everything in view. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come in about, we'll come in, again, this is kind of random, right? You want it towards the end. So I'm going to leave myself probably about an inch. And I'll make a mark. Okay, so now I know I want to be about an inch in, okay? Now we're going to, this is exactly a 1 inch circle, all right? So what we're going to do is, we're going to come down, where's my pencil? We'll come down 3/4 of an inch from the end. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch from the end. And this is going to be an inch away. So I'm just approximating the center. Okay, so we're going to be right there. All right, you all see that? Hopefully you do. So now I'll just take this measurement and I'll go to the other side. Look at that, it's exactly 1.5 inches from the end. So my eyeballs worked. All right, so I measured 1.5 inches from the end, and we're going to come 3/4 of an inch down. You all see that? All right. Now I'm going to show you a little trick, and you'll understand why later on. You got a little piece of scrap here. You're going to put this behind this, and you're going to measure, not so much measure, but you're going to mark exactly where you made those holes, okay? Made those marks, I should say, not holes. Probably going to be out of frame here, but I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so now we have 2 lines, one there and one there, that match exactly where these little crosses are. Okay? And then again, I'll show you at the end why I did that. And if you want to double check it, we could do a quick measurement. But it's going to be exact. All right, we got 27 and 7/8, 27 and 7/8. All right? Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a Forstner bit. If you don't have a Forstner bit, you could use a brad point bit. If you don't have any of this stuff, what you could do is you take your shelf, which I'll show you the next part of it, where we're going to glue and nail this, and you can get a screw eye. And you could put the screw eye in here and use that to mount it to the wall. And then you don't have to do any of this layout. You don't have to have any of these keyhole hangers. That's going to be even the simplest form. But we're going to do it this way. So now I'm just going to take this over to my drill press with my 1 inch. Alright, so we have our 2 holes. Simple as that. Now you want to make sure that you go deep enough that it's at least flush, or at the very least flush, and then it could be a little deeper. It doesn't really matter, okay? So you want to, because when it goes against the wall, you want it to be tight, okay? So now what you're going to do is, it goes this way, okay? So this is the top. So we're going to put this in here, line it up so it's nice and straight, okay? And you're going to grab your pencil and you're going to make a mark right here at the top, okay? Then you come down here at the bottom and just eyeball the middle. Okay, so you should have 2 marks when you're done. See that? Get a mark right there, and you got a mark right there. Now you're going to grab yourself another Forstner bit that's going to be bigger than the head diameter of the screw you're using to put in the wall. And then here I have a couple samples of anchors. These anchors, I don't know the name of them, but these are the best ones in the world. I've used these on every single shelf I've ever mounted for years, and they've never failed me. They're easy to install and they work great. You could use these, but they're not as good as these. So you're going to want to know, well, not that you want to know, you're going to have the screw that you're going to be using, right, that's going to go in the anchor. You want the Forstner bit to be at least a little bit bigger than that, okay? So as you can see, this is just a little bit bigger, and that's all we need. Now I'm going to drill another Forstner hole right here on the 1 dot, and another one right there on the 2nd dot, and then I'll just move out some of the material there. So let me show you that. I'll bring you over to the drill press, and in case you want to see some drilling, you'll see. Alright, I'm sure my hand's going to be in the way, but I'll do my best. Alright, hopefully that shows up. So I'll do the same thing on the other side, and I'll bring you back. Alright, so we have that. And what you want to do is put this back, and you want to make sure that the screw can fit in there and go all the way up to the top. Hopefully that shows up. Basically what you want is, you want enough room so when you put the screw in, it goes all the way up to the top of this. Trying to show it without my hand being in the way. Okay? So now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put this back on here, get it straightened up, and you're going to make 2 little marks where the screws are going to go. Okay? Just eyeball it, get it as straight as you can this way, and we're going to pre-drill a couple holes right there, which all you'll probably see is the top of the drill. and they never go in straight. Okay. Now, screwdriver. All right. So I just have, this should fit on one side of this thing, hopefully. Actually, let me try the end of this one. Aha! That'll work. All right, let me screw this in. Of course, my hand is in the way. All right, let me put the other one in. I'll bring you back. All right, so we have them installed on both ends. Now the next thing we're going to do is we have our, man, I wish I can get everything in view, but so what we want to do is we want to center this on here, and this is going to go like this, okay? Hopefully you see that, okay? And there's going to be a little bit of an overhang over here. So we want to get it centered, right? So we'll just measure this, because this is about 2 inches shorter than this is. Just to leave a little detail on the end. So we'll measure this. Let's see. Actually, it's about 2 inches on each end. Where's my ruler? All right, so this one is... We got 31 inches for the piece, let's call it the hanger, and the actual shelf is 35 inches. Okay, so would I say 33? 31, I'm sorry, by 35. So that leaves me 4 inches. So we're going to want to come 2 inches in, and we're going to see this end here has got a couple little burn marks. We'll use that as the back. So we'll come in 2 inches and just make a little mark, just as a reference point. Okay, 2 inches. And we'll do the same thing on this side. 2 inches. Now, this next part, it's optional. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to round off these edges, okay? And I'm going to round off the bottom of the hangers, okay? All right, my camera shut off for some crazy reason. I got to try to remember where I was when it shut off. I believe I was talking about the rounding off the ends of these. Okay, so again, that's optional. But what I'll do is I'll just grab something like this roll of tape. Make sure you're doing the right side. So in this case, we want the edges with the little burns on them on the back. Just put down the roll of tape or a little cup or whatever, and just draw a little line. Do the same thing on this side, which you can't see. All right, and then we'll do the same thing on this. Make sure the keyhole part where the screw is going to sit is on the top, and you're going to want to do this edge here like this. Then I'll just take this over to my sander and I'll sand them off. You could do it by hand with a file, but I won't bore you watching that, and I'll be back. All right, so I got it rounded off. I moved the camera down to one end so I can show you at least one end, okay? So this is rounded off, and don't forget, you want the keyhole part to be the part where the screw is going to sit, to be the rounding to be on the bottom of that, okay? So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip over the actual shelf, okay? We're going to take this piece, we're going to put it down, get an idea of where we want. We're going to put a couple of these brad nails in after we glue it, okay? So I don't want to put the brad nail where this is, right? So we're going to Actually, what I'm going to do is turn this over. Get the. Let me see what side is the nicest. This will be the top of the shelf. Okay. So I'll just transfer this mark right here. Put this down. And we'll make a little mark where we want to put a drill hole for a nail. Alright, so we got our mark. This is, like I said, 5/8, so we'll just go in, again, eyeball it. You don't want to be all the way on the edge, and you obviously don't want to pass it. And we'll just drill 2 little holes. Let me see what I got. Pilot holes. All right, we got those 2 holes done. Now comes the gluing part. And the strength of this shelf is not going to be from these little brad nails. It's going to be from this Titebond 2 premium wood glue. Okay? This stuff is unbelievable. Once I glue this, I don't really need the nails. The nails are going to be basically in place of a clamp. But once this stuff cures, if you tried to separate these, you'll rip the laminate off of this piece of plywood. That's how great this stuff works. So we're going to glue this together. Put a nice bead of glue all along here. Spread it out. If you got a little acid brush, that'll work. If you don't hesitate to use your fingers. This stuff washes off with water. Alright, we got good coverage there. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we'll flip this back over. We're going to place this down. You remember those little marks we made at the ends? So we know where to line this up. Now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to put a nail in there, but I just can't do it with the camera in front of me. I'll bring it right back. I added a couple extra nails. So now that's glued onto there and nailed onto there. Okay? So basically, that's what the shelf looks like. This is the end. And then the next thing we're going to do is paint it. I am not going to show you me painting it because that is like the most boring thing in the world. Okay? But when it's dry, we'll mount this on the wall and I'll show you what it looks like finished. But basically it's finished at this point, okay? You're going to put the anchors on in the wall. You're going to put the screws into the anchors. And I'm going to show you that last tip that I did in the beginning with this extra piece of wood, okay? Where I drew these 2 lines. Now, if I flip this over, okay? These lines match up with the centers of the hangers. So what I do is I'll take a measurement, just whatever random measurement, somewhere in the middle of this. So this is about 1.5 inches, so we go, we'll go about 1/2 inch right there. Actually, yeah, that's good. It's actually 3/4. Okay, so now we have these marks here. And what we're going to do is, we're going to drill a hole, and we're going to actually put this screw into it. Okay, so let me, I won't bore you. You saw me drill a hole. I'll bring you back when that's done. All right, so I got 2 holes drilled, and I put the actual screw I'm hanging this shelf with in this piece of wood, okay? Now, if everything lined up, if it doesn't, you'll have to make adjustments. This should clip right into both holes, okay? So now you have this as a template. When you go to hang this on the wall, you back these screws out, okay? Put this on the wall, you screw 1 screw in, and then you put your level on here, okay? Put your level on here. Once you have 1 screw in, it pivots. Now you can turn this, and when you get it exactly level, you push this screw in. Now basically this is going to be screwed to the wall, okay? Then unscrew it, and where those 2 holes are is going to be exactly level and where these 2 need to hook onto. That's just a tip. Instead of trying to put the screws on and then putting this on and checking level, it doesn't always come out level when you try to do it that way. But if you make this little template with these screws already in it that you know the shelf fits on perfectly, you can level that very easily on the wall. It's a straight piece of wood, and when you go to hang the shelf, it's going to be perfect. All right, let me get this painted up. All right, so it's all painted up. It definitely came out nice. I always build a little stand whenever I make a shelf, because it's so much easier to paint it when it's actually mounted on a stand than it is to try to paint the bottom, paint the sides, let it dry, turn it over. This way I get the paint on all in one shot, let it dry, you know, give it a little sanding, and then a second coat. And all this stand is just some scrap wood. And I put the screws in exactly where they're going to be when they're on the wall, and it goes on. And this way you don't get a lot of drippage around the sides and the back. So yeah, I'm definitely digging it. So I'm going to go mount this on the wall and throw a picture in there on what it looks like with the oilers on, and we'll call this one good. All right, so here it is, mounted on the wall with the oilers on it. So I got plenty of room to get some more oilers, so I'm on the lookout. Oh yeah. So thanks for coming along, everyone. You know I'm going to say it. I'm sending you all much, much love and appreciation, my brothers and sisters. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I hope you all are feeling well, and we'll see you on the next one.